Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Preeti Kaur. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi honoured with top awards by Guyana and Dominica for global contribution. Dedicates it to the people of the country. Prime Minister Modi proposes 7 key pillars to boost ties between India-Caricom. US vetoes UN Security Council's Gaza ceasefire resolution. Ukraine launches British cruise missiles into Russia. US reopens Kyiv embassy after initially shutting it, strike threat. Guyana has conferred its highest national award, the Order of Excellence, on Prime Minister Narendra Modi. In a ceremony at the State House today, Dr. Mohammad Irfan Ali, President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, conferred upon India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi the highest national award of Guyana, the Order of Excellence. The award was conferred for Prime Minister Modi's visionary statesmanship, for championing the rights of developing countries on the global stage, for exceptional service to the global community, and for his commitment to strengthening India-Guyana relations.
The greatest test of any human being, the greatest test of any member of the human family, is to give of their very little when they are most in need. And Prime Minister Modi has fulfilled this test with distinction during the COVID-19 pandemic, when they gifted this region 500,000 vaccines, when India itself was rallying to meet their own needs.
While accepting the award, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi dedicated the honour to the 1.4 billion people of India and to the deep-rooted historical ties between people of the two countries. He emphasised that his state visit is testament to India's continued commitment towards deepening India-Guyana friendship.
भारत भी गयाना के साथ हर क्षेत्र में कंधे से कंधा मिलाकर चलने के लिए तैयार है। दो डेमोक्रेसीज के रूप में हमारा सहयोग केवल द्विपक्षीय संबंधों के लिए नहीं, बल्कि पूरे ग्लोबल साउथ के लिए महत्वपूर्ण है।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi is the only 4th foreign leader to be conferred with the highest national award of Guyana. With this, the number of international honours for Prime Minister Modi has reached 18. Earlier, Prime Minister also received the Dominica Award of Honour, the highest national award of Dominica. The award was handed by Dominica's President Sylvie Burton and was presented in recognition of Prime Minister Modi's contributions to Dominica during the COVID-19 pandemic and his dedication to strengthening the partnership between the two countries. India supplied Dominica with 70,000 doses of COVID-19 vaccine during the pandemic in February 2021. The award also recognizes India's support for Dominica in healthcare, education and information technology under Prime Minister Narendra Modi's leadership.
ये सम्मान केवल मेरा नहीं है, बल्कि भारत के 140 करोड़ लोगों का, उनके पुरुषार्थ का, उनके संस्कार का, उनकी परंपरा का यह सम्मान है। यह गहरे संतोष का विषय रहा है कि हम कोविड जैसी आपदा के समय डोमिनिका के लोगों की सहायता कर सके।
Earlier, Prime Minister Narendra Modi co-chaired the second India-Caricom Summit along with Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell of Grenada, the current chair of Caricom. Prime Minister Modi thanked President Dr. Irfan Ali of Guyana for hosting the summit. The summit also saw participation from heads of government and FMs of the member states. To further strengthen the India-Caricom partnership, Prime Minister had put forward a 7-pillar proposal for Caricom. Up your screens, we'll have details of that. C stands for capacity building. A stands for agriculture and food security. R for renewable energy and climate change. I for innovation, technology and trade. C for cricket and culture. O for ocean economy and maritime security. And M for medicine and healthcare. Prime Minister Modi also said that cricket is big, connecting link between India and Caribbean nations, and proposed training women cricketers of these nations also.
क्रिकेट हमारे देशों के बीच एक बहुत बड़ा और महत्वपूर्ण कनेक्टिंग लिंक है। इस वर्ष आपके यहाँ हुए T20 वर्ल्ड कप से भारतीय क्रिकेट फैंस का कैरेबियन की ओर आकर्षण और भी बढ़ा है। और यह मैं सिर्फ इसलिए नहीं कह रहा हूं क्योंकि भारत ने यह विश्व कप जीता था। मेरा प्रस्ताव है कि क्रिकेट संबंधों के साथ साथ महिला सशक्तिकरण को बढ़ावा देने के लिए हम कैरिकॉम के हर देश से 11 युवा महिला क्रिकेटर्स की भारत में ट्रेनिंग कर सकते हैं।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi also gave a new definition to the Caricom, focusing on capacity building, agriculture, food security, renewable energy, cricket and culture and medicine. Prime Minister stressed that India has put a proposal of opening Jan Aushadhi Kendra in Caribbean.
कैरिकॉम देशों की स्वास्थ्य सुरक्षा भारत के लिए उच्च प्राथमिकता का विषय रहा है। भारत में सामान्य मानवी को क्वालिटी एंड अफोर्डेबल हेल्थ केयर प्रदान करने के लिए जन औषधि केंद्र खोले हैं। मेरा प्रस्ताव है कि हम इस मॉडल पर कैरिकॉम के सभी देशों में जन औषधि केंद्र खोल सकते हैं। भारत और सभी देशों के बीच फार्माकोपिया को मान्यता देने के लिए समझौता संपन्न किया जाए तो इस प्रयास को गति ला सकते हैं।
During India-Caricom Summit, Guyana President Dr. Irfan Ali thanked Prime Minister Modi for his selfless attributes during COVID times. He added that ties between India and Caribbean are deeply rooted in shared history and enduring cultural connections.
Having collectively this occasion to meet you face to face for the first time since COVID, to thank you and the people of India for your selfless attributes when you delivered to this region our first set of vaccines during the COVID pandemic. Under your visionary leadership, India has an influential voice in the international community. Your launching of the Voice of the Global South, your recent chairmanship of the Group of 20, India's pivotal role in BRICS, and your steadfast advocacy for the developing world underscores your commitment to advancing the aspirations of the Global South. These initiatives have elevated India's stature and placed the concerns of developing nations, including the small island developing and low-lying coastal states of the Caribbean, firmly on the global agenda.
India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi on social media platform X recently highlighted his engagements in Guyana, emphasizing on the strengthening of India's relationship with Caribbean nations. Prime Minister expressed confidence that these ties will continue to grow in the future, fostering collaboration and mutual development.
कैरिबियन की गार्डन सिटी जॉर्ज टाउन में हमारे भव्य स्वागत के लिए मैं राष्ट्रपति इरफान अली और उनकी पूरी टीम का हृदय से आभार व्यक्त करता हूँ। 56 वर्षों के बाद किसी भारतीय प्रधानमंत्री का गयाना की यात्रा पर आना हमारे संबंधों में एक महत्वपूर्ण माइलस्टोन है। आज की बैठक में हमने हमारे सहयोग को मजबूत करने के लिए कई नए इनिशिएटिव्स की पहचान की है। हमारे आपसी व्यापार और आर्थिक सहयोग को बढ़ाने के लिए हम निरंतर प्रयास करते रहेंगे। एक पेड़ माँ के नाम, अपनी माँ के स्मृति में अगर माँ जीवित है तो उनको साथ लेकर के, माँ मौजूद नहीं है तो उनकी याद के साथ धीरे धीरे पूरी दुनिया में इस काम को एक बल मिल रहा है।
You are a champion among leaders. You have led incredibly. You have shown the light to the developing world, and you have created a development matrix and framework that many are adopting in their own country, and much of it is relevant to us here in Guyana.
भारत ने सदैव कैरिकॉम के साथ मिलकर साझा चुनौतियों से निपटने का प्रयास किया है। कोविड हो या नेचुरल डिजास्टर्स, कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग हो या विकास के कार्य, भारत एक विश्वसनीय पार्टनर के रूप में आप सभी के साथ कंधे से कंधा मिलाकर आगे बढ़ा है। ये सम्मान केवल मेरा नहीं है, बल्कि भारत के 140 करोड़ लोगों का, उनके पुरुषार्थ का, उनके संस्कार का, उनकी परंपरा का यह सम्मान है।
से कह उठा शिवै शिवम तरल अनल गगन पवन धरा धरा शिवै शिवम
like a bow but never break।
यह सम्मान केवल मेरा ही नहीं बल्कि भारत के 140 करोड़ लोगों का सम्मान है। यह हमारे संबंधों के प्रति आपकी गहरी प्रतिबद्धता का सजीव प्रमाण है।
During his visit to Guyana, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address a special session of Guyanese Parliament on Thursday, marking yet another significant moment in his global diplomatic outreach. This will be the 14th such instance when Prime Minister Modi will speak on behalf of the people of India in parliaments of foreign nations. He in fact holds the distinction of being the Indian Prime Minister with the highest number of addresses to foreign parliaments. His addresses, which transcend continents, are a testament to India's growing influence on the global stage. Prime Minister Modi's 14 addresses to foreign parliaments are double the number of addresses by Dr. Manmohan Singh, who had delivered 7 such addresses. Indira Gandhi had addressed foreign legislatures 4 times, while Jawaharlal Nehru did it 3 times. Rajiv Gandhi and Atal Bihari Vajpayee delivered 2 such addresses, while others like Morarji Desai and P.V. Narasimha Rao addressed only once. Prime Minister Modi has delivered speeches in legislative chambers across the world, from the Americas to Europe, Africa, Australia and Asia. In 2014, Prime Minister addressed the parliaments of Australia and Fiji. In Asia, Prime Minister has addressed the parliament of joint session of the Bhutanese Parliament and Nepal Constituent Assembly in the same year. In 2015, Prime Minister addressed the British Parliament, National Assembly of Mauritius and parliaments of Sri Lanka, Mongolia and Afghanistan. Prime Minister has addressed the joint session of US Congress twice, in 2016 and then again in 2023. In 2015 also, in Africa, Prime Minister had addressed the Parliament of Uganda in 2018 and Parliament of Maldives in 2019. You're watching DD India Live. We're heading for a short break, but after the break, we will tell you India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh attends the ASEAN Defence Ministers meeting plus in Laopedia.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India Live. Let's get you more updates now. The US has blocked a Gaza ceasefire draft resolution at the United Nations Security Council, the fourth time it has used its veto power during the conflict to shield its ally, Israel. 14 of the 15 council members voted in favor of the draft, which demanded that the conflict in Gaza must end immediately, unconditionally and permanently, and all remaining hostages must be immediately and unconditionally released. Deputy U.S. Ambassador to the UN, Robert Wood, said that the document abandoned the necessity for there to be a linkage between a ceasefire and the release of hostages. Wood said the proposed resolution would have sent a dangerous message to Hamas. Talks between Israel and Hamas to free the hostages have stalled after months of efforts to reach a ceasefire agreement. Hamas said that there would be no hostages for prisoners swap deal with Israel unless the conflict in Gaza ended. Hamas's acting Gaza chief, Khalil al-Hayya, who led the group's negotiating team in talks with Qatari and Egyptian mediators, blamed the lack of progress on Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who in turn holds the Islamist group responsible for the stalled talks. Speaking during a visit to Gaza on Tuesday, Netanyahu said that Hamas would not rule the Palestinian enclave after the conflict had ended and that Israel had destroyed the Islamist group's military capabilities. Netanyahu also said that Israel had not given up trying to locate the 101 remaining hostages believed to be still in the enclave, and he offered a $5 million reward for the return of each one. Ukraine fired a volley of UK Storm Shadow cruise missiles into Russia on Wednesday, the latest new Western weapon it has been permitted to use on Russian targets a day after it fired US long-range missiles. The Storm Shadows have a range of in exceed of 250 kilometers and would give Ukraine the ability to hit targets far deeper into Russia than before. Moscow has said the use of Western weapons to strike Russian territory far from the border would be a major escalation in the conflict. Kyiv says it needs the capability to defend itself by hitting Russian rear bases used to support Moscow's invasion, which entered its 1,000th day this week. Meanwhile, the United States reopened its embassy in Kyiv and returned to normal operations on Thursday after a security threat. U.S. Ambassador to Ukraine said, and I quote him, "We continue to encourage U.S. citizens to remain vigilant, monitor official Ukrainian sources for updates, and be prepared to shelter in place if an air alert is announced," and I unquote. The embassy was closed on Wednesday and embassy employees were instructed to shelter in place a day after Ukraine used American missiles to hit a target inside Russia. US President-elect Donald Trump is forging ahead with his cabinet selections and policy plans as his transition gains momentum. From healthcare reforms to economic strategies, Trump's latest announcements promise a mix of continuity and innovation. Trump has picked former Congressman Pete Hoekstra to be the US ambassador to Canada. Pete Hoekstra was the ambassador to the Netherlands during Trump's previous presidency and has worked as Michigan Republican Party chair during 2024. In the series of surprising appointments, US President-elect Donald Trump will likely choose Johns Hopkins surgeon and writer Martin Makary to lead the Food and Drug Administration. The FDA is the world's most influential drug regulator with more than $7 billion as budget. Makary raised concerns about a number of public health issues during the COVID pandemic, touting the protection from natural immunity and opposing COVID vaccine mandates. The US government late on Wednesday asked a judge to order the dismantling of Google by selling its widely used Chrome browser in a major antitrust crackdown on the internet giant. Now, the proposals come after a federal court found Google guilty of maintaining an illegal monopoly, with the tech giant controlling 90% of online searches and 95% on smartphones. Prosecutors argue that Google's exclusive deals, paying billions to Apple and others to remain the default search engine, have stifled the rivals. Also, Google decreed the measures as radical, warning they could harm innovation and US competitiveness. As Google prepares its counter proposals for December, the stage is set for an April trial that could reshape the tech landscape. The 10th Parliament of neighbouring nation Sri Lanka convened today with its inaugural session, marking the commencement of a new legislative term. During the session, President Dissanayake presented the government's policy statement. The session was conducted with simplicity, in line with the issued guidelines. Meanwhile, a 3-day orientation for newly elected members of Parliament will also be held at the Parliament premises from November 25th to 27th. India's President Draupadi Murmu administered the oath of office to K. Sanjay Murthy, the newly appointed Comptroller and Auditor General, on Thursday. Murthy was sworn in at a ceremony held at Rashtrapati Bhavan. Sanjay Murthy is a 1989 batch IAS officer of Himachal Pradesh cadre. During the oath-taking ceremony, Murthy pledged unwavering allegiance to the Constitution of India and affirmed his commitment to uphold the sovereignty and integrity of the country. India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh is attending the 11th ASEAN Defence Ministers Meeting Plus in Lao PDR. In his opening remarks, Rajnath Singh said that the joint statement being adopted today and our comprehensive strategic partnership with ASEAN will, of course, lay the groundwork for our partnership in future. He added that in the days ahead, India looks forward to working with all of the ASEAN countries towards a stable, safer and more secure world for the future generations.
I am happy to be here on this important occasion of the 11th ADM Plus meeting. I am Rajnath Singh, Defence Minister of India. I convey my congratulations for the presidency of Lao PDR.
On the sidelines of the talks in Vientiane, the minister continues to hold separate bilateral meetings with his counterparts from other participating nations. He will meet defence ministers of the US, New Zealand, South Korea and Australia today. On Wednesday, Rajnath Singh met his counterparts from China, Malaysia and Lao PDR. India's public broadcaster Prasar Bharati has launched its own OTT platform, Waves, offering a broad spectrum of entertainment and news content. The app is now available for download on Android and iOS devices. The platform aims to cater to a wide audience with its mix of live channels, movies, television shows, games and live events.
भारत की संस्कृति का दर्पण प्रसार भारती है कराता भारत के हर रूप का दर्शन.
Let's talk of sports now. 3 times Davis Cup champion Germany secured a 2-0 victory over Canada to reach the semi-finals on Wednesday. Shaw Leonard's Struff overcame Danish Shapovalov in a thrilling match, winning 4-6, 7-5, 7-6, avenging Germany's 2022 quarterfinal loss to eventual champions Canada. Earlier, Daniel Altemir gave Germany the lead with a victory over Gabriel Diallo in the opening singles match. Germany, seeking its first title since 1993, will face the Netherlands in the semi-finals after the Dutch eliminated Spain, marking the end of Rafael Nadal's illustrious 23-year career. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulated the Indian national hockey team on winning the Women's Asian Champions Trophy 2024. On social media platform X, he said, and I quote him, "A phenomenal accomplishment. Congratulations to our hockey team on winning the Women's Asian Champions Trophy. They played exceptionally well through the tournament. Their success will motivate many upcoming athletes." After nearly 40 years, an iconic piece of Alice Springs history is being revived in the heart of the remote town. The murals, originally painted on the exterior of a local shopping center, are being restored to their original vibrancy by a group of talented indigenous artists, symbolizing the land's history and cultural practices that have been passed down through the generations. That's it in this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those of you on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. You can scan the respective QR codes on your screens. We will be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Preeti Kaur signing off, and from all of us in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.